You worry about it. But I did want to start off with some Red Sox thoughts. You okay with that?
Sure, absolutely.
I want to start off with something you said last night on your Baseball Reporters program.
Okay.
I don't know if people realize, I was sitting right next to you. I tend to sit here and doodle around on my computer while you do your show.
You tend to do that during the show.
Well, correct. But during your show, I'm obviously not doing anything but doodling and sort of listening with one ear. And last night, you happened to say something that did catch my ear.
Really?
And if I was on the air with you, if I was technically on your show, I would have said something to you, i.e. called you out on it. But since it's your show, I just sat there. And I was curious if anyone else did. And first of all, I want to make sure I get it right vis-a-vis the Red Sox. Did you say, in general, they're not as good as we think they are, and you still see them as a third-place team?
Yes, I did. That's exactly what I said.
Did Tony actually say, Jimmy, that he sees the Red Sox finishing behind Toronto this year?
That is indeed the case.
Is my paper wrong? Are the Red Sox 10 games ahead of the Blue Jays this morning?
I think that's about right.
Or going into last night, it was
Sounds right.
10 games. 10 games. So the Red Sox aren't as good as we think they are, and they will finish behind the Toronto Blue Jays, who currently reside 10 games behind the Red Sox in the loss column. Is that what you said?
Yeah, again, you were slightly misrepresenting what I said, because I'll tell you.
So why don't you represent it the proper way, and then we'll discuss.
Okay, because you're not giving the whole thought. What I said was, to me, they're still a third-place team. My opinion of that hasn't changed. I picked them to finish behind Tampa Bay and Toronto. I still think that'll be true. And if it's not Toronto, it'll be Baltimore. That's what I said.
Okay, but you're still giving Toronto.
I'm not counting out the Blue Jays yet.
Okay.
Now, I will admit they caught a little bit of a bad break last night. The Blue Jays did when they lost the only guy who's been pitching well for them. But that aside, it's early. It's early. And my greater point with the Red Sox.
Did you get any pushback on this particular take?
Not really.
Again, people, Anthony Maserati, your Sox are not as good as you think they are, and he still sees them as a third-place team, potentially even behind Toronto. That's right. The Blue Jays.
Mazz would have been hypocritical had he said he was out on the Blue Jays, yet still not buying in on the Red Sox. I think it makes perfect sense.
I see. He's trying to be consistent.
He's being very consistent. It's too early.
Got it.
It is. It's early. That's all I'm saying. And you know what? I did a little more research on this because after the Red Sox went into Texas, and there was a guy who called in and accused me of being negative last night.
No,
Did you hear that, Beetle?
God.
I wouldn't say that that's negative. They went down to Texas.
That's a very positive statement.
They went down to
your Red Sox aren't as good as you think they are.
No, it's a realistic statement.
No, definitely positive.
It's realistic.
I hear them say it on Nesson all the time.
In fact, I think it's a public service.
Your Red Sox are not as good as you think they are.
That's right. I'm trying to do everybody a favor, Beetle. It's a public service.
I hear Jim Rice say that daily.
Pretty soon we're going to start doing PSAs. The Red Sox aren't as good as you think you are, so calm down. Let me ask you a question. If you think they're that good, how come you only picked them for 88 wins?
And if I were asked to revise my prediction, I'd revise it on the upside.
Yeah, I wouldn't revise it right now. It's way too early. Way too early. And they're 21-12, which is great. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, overall, they're doing the things they need to do. But that Texas series did highlight the fact that when they go against competition that we would deem to be elite, there's still a notch below that. That's all. I think everybody looks at the 21-12 and wants to say, wow, that is a 650 winning percentage. They're going to win 100 games. Not that kind of team. And if you want to start playing games with the numbers, okay, if you want to do that, they're 21-12, but they're 7-0 against Houston and Cleveland, who are wretched teams.
I think that's what good teams do.
Okay, but
they beat the teams they should beat, and they tread water against everybody else, and they make the playoffs, and then they win the playoffs. That does not mean you're a bad team.
Okay, I didn't say they were a bad team. You're putting words in my mouth. I just said that they are not as good as everyone thinks they are. That's all.
I think good teams clean up on bad competition. I think it's a sign of being a good team.
Okay, we'll see how it goes, because Houston's losing everybody. Houston's 9-24. So does that mean that everybody else is good? You tell me. Does it?
I just think good teams take care of business.
No, it means that Houston sucks is what it means. And Cleveland, despite the fact that Cleveland has played well of late, Cleveland sucks.
But you're being positive about this, right? This is all glass half full sort of stuff from you.
I'm just saying, I am subscribing to the Billy Lanny school of pump the brakes. That's what I'm saying.
Let's dig into some...
They've lost 4 out of 5 here. Last night, a crafty lefty. And you know what? I like that kid, by the way, from Minnesota last night. I love guys like that who throw 89 miles an hour and can throw it on the corner every single time. I love that kind of pitching. And this is now 2 games in a row, and I don't want to make too much of it, okay? Because early in the year, they did well against lefties. But, you know, Holland shut them down on Friday night in Texas. He's got better stuff than this kid does. But this kid lived on the outside corner. And to me, this is now a reflection on people like Middlebrooks. Middlebrooks is in the lineup because you need him to hammer left-handed pitching at the very least. And so now you get, and Pedroia for that matter. And if you want to add Napoli, but hard to pick on him because of the way he hit early in the year. So I just think that some of their holes have caught up to him a little bit in the last 5 days.